I'm Ashan Singh. It's Thursday, August 27th. You've got questions and we've got answers. This is Search. We're breaking down what you're asking right now in real time. Let's get right to it. We've got our Bethany Braun-Silva in for Maya Ephraim. Bethany, what are people searching for today?
Hey Ashan, the deadly flooding in Nepal and Tibet is driving a wave of searches as rescue efforts continue. People are asking how many people have died, what caused the flash flooding, and whether a glacier collapse or dam failure played a role. We're also seeing basic geography and travel questions, including where Nepal is, what the country is known for, and whether it's safe to travel there right now. Meanwhile, NVIDIA's latest financial outlook has people watching both the company and their portfolios. Searchers want to know whether NVIDIA beat earning expectations and what its forecast for 70% revenue growth actually means. And then come the big investing questions. Will the stock go up? Should I hold or sell? And is it already too late to invest in NVIDIA? And now the closing arguments have wrapped in the Lindsay Clancy trial. Searches are shifting to what happens next. People are asking when the jury could reach a decision and whether Clancy could be acquitted and sent to a mental health facility. We're also seeing broader questions about postpartum psychosis and why some people have expressed support for Clancy.
All right, well, a lot to get into today, Bethany. Thanks so much. We'll check back with you in just a bit. Okay, let's get to this top story that you guys can't stop asking about, the deadly flash flooding in Nepal, where hundreds are confirmed dead. And we've got our Britt Clennon on the ground there in Kathmandu. Britt, you are there at the site where this flooding hit just in the past 24 hours. Talk to us a little bit about this death toll and the rescue operations that are underway.
Hey, Ashan. Well, there is some rain coming in now, so hopefully that won't hamper those huge rescue operations underway. This is now, Ashan, one of the deadliest disasters Nepal has seen in years. Nepal police say the confirmed death toll has now climbed to at least 389. And on China's side of the border, reporting 3 more dead in Tibet. We know that Tibet is a sensitive area, and perhaps that's why the Chinese are slower to release those numbers. But the number that's also really staggering, Ashan, is the missing. More than 900 people are still unaccounted for here in Nepal, and China's state broadcaster says at least 558 are missing on the Tibetan side. So we could actually be looking at well over 1,000 people combined. A huge chunk of those missing are foreigners. Nepal's tourism authorities, they say well over 500 foreign nationals are among them, including dozens of Americans. Now, on the ground, you know, this is a huge all-out mobilization. We're talking more than 9,000 army, police, armed personnel that have been deployed using bulldozers to dig people out of their buried homes, sniffer dogs to search the debris, and helicopters ferrying in supplies and pulling out survivors because so many roads and bridges have simply been washed away.
Yeah, the conditions just look unbelievable. Britt, we're seeing a ton of searches where people are wondering just how this actually happened. I know that we're in monsoon season in this part of the world, but this flash flooding, it felt a little different.
Yeah, and this one, Ashan, it really did catch people off guard because it wasn't typically the monsoon rain everyone expected. It was a mountain giving way. Investigators, including the US Geological Survey, they say this started with a massive avalanche of ice and rock breaking off the north face of Langtang Lirung. That's one of the towering peaks right on the Nepal-Tibet border. Now, that collapse slammed into the valley below and triggered this kind of seismic activity strong enough that it was actually initially mistaken for an earthquake, but USGS, it says it was actually a glacial collapse and debris flow, not a quake. So all that ice, rock and mud, it roared down and into the Botekoshi and Trushli river systems, and that's when you saw some of those horrific images, you know, it tearing through border towns like Timure and others and swept downstream as far as Chitwan.
Yeah, Britt, just a more general search that we're seeing right now. People are wondering, is it actually safe to travel to Nepal right now, given the weather and what they could be up against?
Yeah, and Ashan, I've had a lot of people ask, you know, the same thing to me because I think people are concerned that there is another lake that could burst within the next few days, and there's a lot of information going around online about that, which is why officials are warning about a possible second and third wave of flooding from debris and still sitting in those river systems. But the short answer is, Ashan, this is not a cancel your trip to Nepal situation, but, you know, it's very much a know exactly where you're going situation. The damage is concentrated in one one corridor, but Kathmandu, Pokhara, Chitwan, and the big trekking regions, Everest and Annapurna, they are operating normally, including flights operating normally to Ashan.
Britt, just great reporting. Thanks so much for being on the ground for us, and be safe out there. Thank you. All right, let's get to NVIDIA's earnings forecast with our go-to for all things economy, Elizabeth Schulze. Elizabeth, thanks for being here. It seems like business is booming for NVIDIA. What do we know about this earnings call? Did they beat earnings? People are wondering on Search.
Yeah, it's almost an understatement to say business is booming, Ashin. We are seeing just another blowout quarter for NVIDIA, which is really the chip maker that is powering this boom in artificial intelligence. Remember, NVIDIA makes all of those computer chips that keep AI up and running. And what they did, they reported their latest earnings yesterday, beat on the top and bottom line. What that means is both their revenue and their sales were above forecast. When you look at that revenue number, $96.2 billion, Ashin, that's up 106%. Just in the past year. So this is a company going into these reports, expectations are high, and man, it does not have a problem exceeding those expectations.
Now, Schulze, I'm going to ask a question. Don't make fun of me because I'm wondering it, and I know people on Search are wondering it. What actually is revenue growth, and how do companies like NVIDIA calculate it, especially a year down the line?
Yeah, there is no such thing as a dumb question. And by the way, these financial reports can be so hard to read through, but it's really just trying to understand this other language that some of these are in. So revenue is another way of saying sales growth. Basically, how much is NVIDIA selling to other companies? How many orders is it fulfilling? How many people are actually buying its stuff? And when you look at the sales, that is how much is going out every year, and then it basically creates a forecast for it. Says, okay, well, we have this many orders in the pipeline. This is what we're projecting sales will look like. When you think about what a revenue kind of forecast is, or a revenue, when you're looking at that number, it's really just comparing this 3 months compared to the last 3 months, or this year to last year, and then also doing the same thing looking into the future. Revenue is a really important metric for Wall Street, Ashin, but I also mentioned the bottom line, which is profit. And what the difference is there is that's how much money you're making after all of your expenses are paid. So it's important to know how many sales you're making, but also important, you got to pay your employees, you got to pay for a bunch of other costs. Profit is the number that takes all that into account.
I'm getting smarter on the job. I appreciate you, but you got to let me know before I let you go. Tell me a little bit about NVIDIA stock. We saw a bump today. Is it expected to keep going up?
It is a crazy move in the stock, up about 8% today. That's
Wow.
a really significant move when you think about the size of this company. It is pretty much tied to be the biggest company in the world. $5.5 trillion was the market value at last check, pretty much the same as Apple. So an 8% increase in a day like this, I did the math here, $440 billion in just one day. So no wonder people are searching for this stock. It has been on an absolute tear over the past year, but really when you look back over a bigger horizon over the past 5 years, we're talking about like a 9,000% gain in that stock. This is one that has continued to power forward. People wondering, man, I should have gotten in 5 years ago. Is it too late? Understandably, but I don't have the right answer to that question other than to say there has been so much momentum on this AI trade this year, but it isn't really slowing down, at least not yet.
Holy cow, that AI bubble, it looks like it's not going anywhere. Elizabeth Schulze, I appreciate you so much. And time to talk about the latest in the Lindsay Clancy murder trial. I've got Peter Haralambis for what to expect as the case winds down. Peter, appreciate you being here, man. It has been a whirlwind few weeks for this trial. What have been the biggest takeaways from today's closing arguments?
Yeah, what really stood out to me was how defense lawyers really put the healthcare system at the center of their case. They have always been arguing that Clancy was misdiagnosed, that she was over-medicated today, and defense attorney Kevin Reddington today really hammered at that point. At one point, he actually opened his closing argument by showing a photo of the happy Clancy family and then a photo of Lindsay Clancy in her hospital bed. And he asked the jury, what prompted this? What could have caused it? And he said, quote, because the damn medicine and the lousy medical care she got. In terms of prosecutors, they really focused a lot of their closing on this question of intent, all the planning they say that Clancy was doing. And towards the end, it became a deeply emotional closing argument. The prosecutor reminding jurors that in this case, Cora, the oldest, wanted to be a doctor, that Dawson wanted to be a firefighter, and that Callan, the 8-month-old, was too young to even dream, saying that Clancy robbed them of their childhood and should be held accountable.
Geez, is there a world, we're seeing this a lot on Search right now, Peter, is there a world in which Lindsay Clancy could actually be acquitted?
Yeah, there's certainly a world. There's actually two big ways that could happen. The first of which is a straight acquittal. It's possible the jury looks at all of this and basically throws out the case, says they don't believe beyond a reasonable doubt that Clancy was responsible. That's one option. It's less likely. The second is something the defense lawyers have really been trying and putting more effort into. That is this argument about a lack of criminal responsibility. If the jury believes that Clancy was in fact suffering from postpartum psychosis, suffering from it so severely that you couldn't tell the difference between right and wrong or follow the law, they could basically say that she can't be held criminally responsible. Now, that doesn't mean she walks free, though. That means she gets committed to a state psychiatric facility. She could be held there indefinitely, though if ultimately her mental health improves and she's deemed not a threat to the community, she could one day get released.
Yeah, Peter, real quick, I know we've been seeing a lot of people in support of Lindsay Clancy outside the trial. There's also been a lot of search interest about these supporters. What are you hearing about them?
Yeah, it's really remarkable to see the amount of support she's been getting. We've seen people showing up to court in support. Last week, we saw hundreds rallying outside the hospital where she's currently being kept and the courthouse itself. A lot of people saying they see themselves in the struggles that she went through. Her parents, for example, also, who've been there every day for this trial, a GoFundMe for them has raised more than $1 million, as we've really seen this groundswell of support for Clancy, her struggle, and arguing that in this case, she was failed by the medical system.
Peter Haralambous, thanks so much for staying on top of this for us, man. I appreciate you breaking it down. We just ran through your top searches, but what else is on your timeline? Let's get back to Bethany. Bethany, what else is trending today?
Ashen, eyes are turning to the sky for today's blood moon lunar eclipse. People want to know what time they'll be able to see it, whether it will be visible from their location, and why the moon appears red. We're also seeing some more celestial curiosity, including just how rare a blood moon is and whether seeing one is considered lucky. And finally, gamers rejoice. Xbox is celebrating 25 years with a limited edition anniversary collection, and gamers are already trying to get their hands on it. Searches are focused on where and when to pre-order the new gear, along with how much the 25th anniversary Xbox controller will cost.
It's kind of crazy to think that the Xbox has been around that long. But also this blood moon, Bethany, I don't know, can we see it outside tonight? I feel like it's so gray. Like, I don't know if we're going to be able to catch it.
Rainy day here in New York City, but maybe in other locations. We'll see. Hopefully it is lucky, though.
Bethany, I appreciate you very much. Coming up, one search always leads to another. We've got a trending topic, but that's just the surface. How more recalls in the U.S. are leading to more questions about our food safety system. We've got The Spiral. It's coming up next. Welcome back to Search. Today's top searches are only part of the story. A simple scroll can sometimes take you down a deep rabbit hole. It's time now for The Spiral. All right, and you guys can't stop asking questions about food safety in the U.S., and we're following your clicks and curiosity, and it looks like you guys want to know about the safeguards in place and more about health policies under the Trump administration. So let's break it down. We've got Christina Jewett up first, and then our Sony Salzman. Y'all, thank you so much for being here. Let's start with recalls and food safety in the U.S. with New York Times healthcare reporter Christina Jewett. Christina, thank you so much for being here. You recently co-wrote a piece called How Cyclospora Evaded the U.S. Food Safety System to Sicken Thousands. We've covered those outbreaks in depth, but what did your reporting actually find?
What we found was that about 30 months ago, the Trump administration delayed a rule that would have made companies like Taco Bell, which is where this outbreak was first detected, report really thorough information to federal officials who are trying to trace this back. So we found that there were requests for this information starting on July 1st, July 3rd, July 8th. It wasn't until the 13th that the FDA actually got this information to enable them to really trace back where the cyclospora came from. And there are some people who think that if that rule hadn't been delayed, the rule required that reporting within 24 hours, that we could have ended this a lot sooner and gotten that lettuce off the shelves.
Yeah, what did you hear from food safety experts, especially about the impact of the delay of that federal rule?
I mean, they thought it was significant. I mean, this rule was like a decade in the making. People were, very concerned that these outbreaks that every day could be, lives saved, hospitalizations prevented. So they really fought hard to get this, they call it traceability requirement put in place. And so it was a big surprise. I actually wrote a story when it happened last year that this requirement was delayed. It was supposed to take effect last year. Now it doesn't take effect until 2028.
Yeah, Christina, your report focuses on cyclospora, but it's not just cyclosporiasis, right? We've seen recall after recall for things like potential E. coli or salmonella exposure. What does this say about food safety safeguards as they are right now in the United States?
I mean, I think the fact that we care and we pay so much attention to them means that the federal government, could invest more. And if they did, would that mean we would detect more and feel like food is less safe potentially? But every time there's one of these big outbreaks, I usually take sort of a deep dive or a dig into it. And you find a lot of, rules that should have been in place that weren't in place, or you find warning signs, like with the boar's head, the listeria on the deli meat, a lot of problems in that facility and a lot of warning signs that things were problematic. So, I think our food supply, the FDA will say, they often say our food supply is overwhelmingly safe, taken as a whole. And statistically, when you think about 350 million people and how much we all eat every day, statistically, I mean, I think that that's not a crazy thing for them to say, but these get our attention. When you say explosive diarrhea, it gets everyone's attention.
Yeah, when you've been on the ground reporting on this issue, what do you understand are the major hurdles that the FDA is now facing with all these issues, especially where it feels like they're kind of drinking through a fire hose right now with sort of different kinds of outbreaks popping up, right?
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of rules in place, and the rules really put a heavy emphasis on the companies to basically sort of like know what the risks are that are specific to their food supply, and then to basically take care of business, make sure that the risks are managed. And that's kind of like a vague, broad thing that the companies are really responsible for. So the FDA doesn't go in and, fine companies. They don't go shut down food suppliers. You just don't ever hear of that. So, I mean, I think, what Congress hands them in terms of like the power to, really police the food supply, I mean, potentially could be a little bit stronger.
For sure. Christina Jewett, really appreciate your reporting. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's bring in ABC News Med Unit producer Sony Salzman. Sony, appreciate you being here. What is the Trump administration saying about the recent list of recalls announced by the FDA? Have cuts sort of impacted the government's response? What do you know?
Yeah, I mean, look, for context here, these bugs, things like salmonella, E. coli, they're really hard to avoid. The CDC estimates that 48 million people are sickened with foodborne illness every year. And so the question here isn't really about, like, did the government cause the outbreaks? It's whether or not these rules, as Christina was just alluding to, or these steep personnel cuts have hampered the response. So Secretary Kennedy has defended the administration's handling of the most recent outbreaks, and he really pushed back on the idea that personnel cuts have made this situation worse.
I see. So, Sony, break this down for me, because it feels like it all comes on the heels of this Make America Healthy Again movement. So what is the administration actually saying about the MAHA movement and its policies, and what are the efforts on food quality as it pertains to Kennedy's MAHA movement?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, two separate things. The food recalls that we've been talking about, totally separate from the MAHA agenda called, that's focused on ultra-processed food. And this actually enjoys bipartisan support, excuse me. So Americans get more than half of their calories from ultra-processed food. The administration's major effort here has been effectively to kind of pressure private companies to remove some of these additives, fillers, some of these controversial ingredients that have been banned in other countries. This is an effort to make that packaged food a little bit healthier, right? And just yesterday, General Mills announced that Lucky Charms, Trix, some of the favorite cereals, these are now going to be free of artificial colors. So it's kind of the latest example of a major food company aligning with the administration's stated goal here.
Right, and Sony, we've seen that the HHS has lacked sort of leadership across the board. That's changing now. You've had a new leadership sort of shakeup. How are they tasked with implementing the standards that MAHA is trying to embody?
Yeah, so that's right. Two big jobs. The CDC director was confirmed earlier this month. The FDA director has been nominated, not yet confirmed. But, both leaders will be tasked with operationalizing the MAHA policies, right? And that can be a really tricky tightrope to walk, as prior leaders have experienced, because on the one hand, you have very popular policies, like a lot of these food policies around ultra-processed food, but then on the other hand, you have very controversial policies, like some of the administration's efforts to restrict or limit vaccines, which of course, that's in the context of the fact that polling shows a majority of Americans support vaccines, and it's against the backdrop of, universal outcry from doctors.
It's a tightrope, and we'll keep walking it. Sony, appreciate you so much. Still ahead, it might be at the top of your feed, but what's the vibe? We've got your top pop culture and entertainment searches with Roxy Diaz, including Leah Remini becoming a real housewife. We've got the vibe check coming up next. It's time now for our vibe check, a look at what's buzzing in entertainment and pop culture. Our Roxy Diaz joins me now for more on what's trending on your feeds. Roxy, what's going on? What's on your radar today?
Oh my gosh, one of my favorite artists. The art world has lost its queen of polka dots. Yayoi Kusama, the Japanese artist whose infinity mirror rooms became a global phenomenon. The 97-year-old studio announcing she died August 14th at a hospital in Tokyo. And in a statement saying she continued to paint until her final days, never setting aside her brush and continue exploration of forever love and eternal soul. Now, Kusama left Japan for New York in 1957 to chase her art and turn those repeating dots into works that are shown at MoMA, the Whitney, and Germany's Museum Ludwig. And she told the Associated Press in 2012, quote, "I will keep painting until the day I die." She did that right to the very end. Her work is phenomenal. I would tell everybody to please go see an exhibit near you. And actress Busy Phillips says she's grateful to be alive, telling People magazine she had 2 surgeries this year to remove a brain tumor. She told the magazine the tumor was discovered earlier this year after seeking a second medical opinion months after her doctor told her she was healthy and did not need an MRI. She received a full body MRI one day after the death of her former Dawson's Creek co-star James Van Der Beek. The scan revealed a lesion in her brain. Phillips sought out surgery and the tumor was completely removed. She will now get scans every 3 months for the next 2 years. And Beverly Hills just got a serious upgrade. Leah Remini is joining season 16 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She confirmed the news herself on Instagram, writing, "It's true," tagging Bravo. She's entering a stacked house with Kyle Richards, Erica Jane, and more. Remini broke out of 9 seasons of King of Queens, but she's known just as much for her outspoken activism. She spoke exclusively to ABC's 2020 about her experience in Scientology. She's a woman who's taken a far bigger fight than a dinner party. Ash, this cast has everybody buzzing, and we have no idea what's coming.
Roxy, I was trying to put this into sports terms. I feel like this is LeBron joining the Sixers or something. Like, you don't know what's actually going to happen, but you can't watch. You can't not look away, right?
You're going to do it to sports. I'm going to say it's like, Tiana Taylor being the face of Aliyah for this fashion fall season. There you go.
I'll take that one. Roxy, I appreciate you. All right, I'm Ashin Singh, and this is Search on ABC News Live, where your questions meet real answers. We'll leave you with what's trending right now on abcnews.com. You can scan that QR code right there to catch up, and I'm going to see you back here tomorrow. Be safe.